Hi, welcome to my channel and welcome to Doctor Who Tag. This was originated by Luke Spillane over a year ago, and lots of YouTubers, especially Doctor Who fans, well, definitely Doctor Who fans, have taken part in this tag. I haven't been specifically tagged for this, but I don't care. I don't need an invite to come to the party. Okay, so I've got a list of questions just to my right, and I'm going to read them and answer them as honestly as I possibly can and as off the cuff as I possibly can. So let's begin. Who is your favourite Doctor? First thought goes to Tom Baker, just because of the sheer amount of choice we have in his stories. I mean, he served for 7 years, which is longer than some Doctors combined. So there's just such a wealth of stories. Special effects technology had improved so much during his era that we get to see very, very different styles throughout. In the new era, at the moment, Peter Capaldi. I mean, he's brilliant. No doubt about it. What is your favourite Doctor Who story? Well, I'd be well advised to say The War Games for the classic era and Heaven Sent for the modern era, because they were my number ones in my top 10s for Doctor Who stories. But one story I did miss out, Brain of Morbius from Tom Baker's era. The reason I'd forgotten about it is because I hadn't seen it for so long I'd forgotten, but I've recently bought it on DVD. And I've got to say, it holds up so well. It's such a brilliant story. Who is your favourite companion? Okay, for the modern era, I would say Catherine Tate as Donna Noble, because it just made such a change from the sort of doughy-eyed, lovesick Martha and Rose. You know, we just had a companion that wanted to be a companion. Just wanted to travel in the TARDIS for the pure experience of travelling in the TARDIS and no other reasons, no ulterior motives. And that just made such a change, as well as the fact that Catherine Tate played the character with such humour, feisty and just full of mirth. I love her character. In the classic era, I would say my favourite companion is probably, see, I want to say Sarah Jane Smith, but what I really want to say is Ace. I think she was, the age she was more my age when I was watching her. And when I was watching Sarah Jane Smith and Leela and Romana, they were very much older than I was at the time. And with Ace, the sort of the age of the companion and my age at the time coincided, so I felt more in common with Ace than any other companion. What was the first story you ever watched? This is a very difficult question to answer, because the first Doctor Who story I remember actually, or the first Doctor Who episode I remember watching, was in 1974, and I was way too young to understand really what I was watching. I don't believe I even watched the whole of the whole 4 episodes. I think I only watched the one episode because it had dinosaurs in it, and that is John Pertwee's Invasion of the Dinosaurs. Like any 6-year-old at the time, I was completely obsessed with dinosaurs. Not so much obsessed with science fiction. I don't believe let's bring out my book. And looking in my book, I can say the first story I watched out of choice and actually started watching Doctor Who after that was probably around about the Robots of Death. I would say it was around about that era, the Deadly Assassin, The Face of Evil, The Robots of Death in 1977. I would have been 11 years old and very much in the right age group for being influenced by Doctor Who. What is your favourite series or era? I need to bring the book out again for this one. Well, Series 4. David Tennant and Donna Noble. For the characters. For the stories, it would be Matt Smith's first season. Was that 6 or 5? Or 7 or 5? I don't remember. But Matt Smith's first season was absolutely superb. The Beast Below, getting to know Amy and Rory, and just generally Matt Smith's quirkiness as this new baby doctor. I loved it. But Dr. Donna, yeah. Your favourite pre or post regeneration story? Okay, for pre-regeneration stories, okay, War Games and Logopolis count as two very, very brilliant. I mean, the lead up in Logopolis to the regeneration, I mean, it'd been well advertised beforehand that he was going to regenerate into Peter Davison, but just the sheer build up of the Watcher and the mystery behind that, and the fight with the Master, and the immediate threat of, well, the destruction of the universe that was at stake. It's just fantastic. And the makeup and the visualisation of the regeneration at the time was mind-blowing. And of course the War Games, because the War Games is just such a fantastic story. The regeneration itself was rubbish. It was a complete cop-out. Even William Hartnell's regeneration into Patrick Troughton was better than Patrick Troughton's regeneration into John Pertwee. As for post-regeneration stories, that is a difficult one. I mean, The Christmas Invasion is a very good story. David Tennant's first story. But again, I think I'd have to go back to series 7565, whatever it was, and Matt Smith's debut in the 11th Hour. I mean, we had the Doctor behaving perfectly quirky with his post-regeneration hunger, and the Prisoner Zero, which was a really great threat. Annette Crosby guest starring, fantastic, loved it. And just generally everything about this episode was fantastic. I'm saying fantastic a lot, but Doctor Who is fantastic. Your favourite TARDIS? Now, they've all been good. But like Mikola, who I have watched just recently, I would have to agree that the Fourth Doctor's secondary console room, the nice Victorian wooden panels that were seen very, very briefly, but with such good effect, especially in, the Robots of Death, where we get to really see that console room in all its glory. It's a beautiful design, beautiful. And I'm rather a retro person. I love the wood finish. And the Eighth Doctor's, because from the very, very small rooms that we had in the classic series, when we had the film, Paul McGann's TARDIS was just so open, huge and gothic looking. It just blew my mind away. I just never realised that the TARDIS could look like that. And of course it's looked like that ever since. These big, spacious console rooms. It's hard to believe that the console rooms used to be just tiny. Your favourite villain or monster? Now, in the classic series, I've always been fond of the Zygons. In the modern story, in the modern series, I think it'd have to be the Weeping Angels. I mean, Blink was an absolutely terrifying story. And virtually every story they've been in, maybe apart from The Angels Take Manhattan, they've been absolutely terrifying. The only thing that that let down Angels Take Manhattan was the stupid Statue of Liberty moving, which isn't even made of stone, so I don't see how that could even be a weeping angel. Isn't it made of copper and iron? But the Weeping Angels are terrifying. The Zygons were very creepy when I first saw them, which was on a rerun, obviously. Well, thank you for watching this little skit, I suppose. This little tag. I hope you found it enjoyable. See you soon. Until next time, hit that like and subscribe and etc. Goodbye.